This video was filmed, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 months ago during a performance workshop. And at the time I was having a difficult time with my apartment. My walls in the kitchen, above the window in the living room, had started to grow black mold. And so I had to decide to move out. And I decided it one day before the performance started. And so I was in a really stressed mood at the time. But I tried to use this energy to tell a story. And on the morning that I decided to move out, on the same morning I listened to a podcast to escape the situation, to think of something different. I listened to a podcast about video games. And incidentally, without intention at all, with no relation, they were talking about a horror game about a house. And in this house, the walls turn evil, and they turn against you. And in this podcast, they said the sentence, that's exactly like black mold. The walls, they turn against you. And I was struck by this, because how did this podcast in this moment knew exactly what I was going through? And so this sentence that they said, the walls turning against you, the safe space becoming your enemy, it really stuck with me and the other people in my workshop. And so we reflected on my life and we figured out, actually, this is not the first time that this happened. The first time was when I was still living with my parents and my boyfriend at the time had moved in, and all of a sudden I had no space left for myself. And then it happened again in my apartment when a cricket moved in and forced me out because I was so scared of insects that I had to flee my space and I couldn't use the bathroom for 2 weeks. And then it happened again when my rice cooker burned on the stove and I felt like I was incapable of living. And then it happened again and again with the black mold at last, forcing me to finally move out of the space. I lost it. And the black mold had started to spread away from the walls. It started to spread to my bookshelf, to the wood of the bookshelf, growing out of it. It had started to mold on my clothing, on everything that was made of wood, that was made of leather. These tiny, cancerous particles started to grow. And then for the workshop, I took all this clothing and I took it to a washing saloon that's right close by. Maybe you've seen it before. And really early in the morning, 7 a.m. or something, I started washing my clothes and I tried to build this space to tell this story of these continuous safe spaces that were constructed and destructed. And then, when I was about 18, I think, suddenly, for different reasons, my boyfriend at the time, he moved in with me. And he just joined our space. And he just on the sudden. But that wasn't a problem. We knew each other very well and we loved each other. So he just joined my Haeusser. And all of a sudden, I have no space left for myself because all the space was either his space or the space where I was taking care of him and trying to fit to what he needed. And so I fled to the living room at night by myself. And this was right before I moved into a new space. So we weren't living together anymore. And I took some things from him, and he kept it very little things to me. But I took a lot of clothing from him, a lot of items that I took with me. And then we broke up, and I had a new space for myself. And finally, I felt like I could be in my space again. But somehow, this space was having a lot of cracks. And things go inside from the outside. And they literally came from the outside. Crickets, flies, mold, all these creatures and things were coming into my space and making little cracks until there was nothing left, and I was feeding my space again. And the space I had constructed for myself, I realized it was constructed without a basis. It was like a tree house on a rotten tree. So it was inevitable to fall apart. Since then, I've moved out of my apartment. I've found a new one, actually, right here in the school. On the wall there was a poster for it, and we found it on the day this was filmed. And then I immediately got the apartment. The new landlords are so nice. And I'm moving in like 3 weeks. Until then I'm staying with some friends. And it's still weird because while I'm staying at my friend's place on the couch, I also don't have my own room. I have no door to close except the bathroom door. But I guess it's a lot better than the mold, and it's not for a long time. And the fact that The fact that my bathroom door, or their bathroom door I guess, is the only door I can close, I think that's funny. Because when I was in my old apartment, the moldy one, and the mold had already grown a lot, one time I was sitting in my bathroom, and I was doing better after a long time of feeling very bad. And I looked at the clothing on the ground in my bathroom, and I thought, wow, this feels so good. This feels so safe. Because I thought, my parents won't come in and tell me to move these clothes away. These clothes were a barrier around me, in kind of a circle formation. Maybe I had taken them off while I was on the toilet, or just stepped out of my pants when they were down anyways. And I wrote about this. I wrote a text about this feeling that I had. About the fact that bathrooms are oftentimes a space to pause your everyday, because you have to go anyway. And these clothes on the floor at the time were the wall of my safe space. And now once again they are the start of a new constructive process. This time having a basis, having a healthy tree. It's not done yet. I'm not done with this transformation, but I'm really happy to have taken the first step.